My name is Farah Ashrafnia, and I'm going to be presenting my project on Turkey and the food of the people. To begin, we're going to be first looking at the eating style and food culture of the country of Turkey. There's a new ambivalence about the eating style and the traditional nature of the Turkish lifestyle. There's a role of culture clashing and mixing between traditional westernized influences. There's also a predicted prevalence of eating style and diet changes in Turkish culture, which could increase in the future. There is also a growing concern over food safety issues among food handlers in Turkey. Of the 764 food handlers asked in a study done in Turkey, only 9.6% reported using gloves. Now, with this information, we realize that with the idea of westernization, there's always positive outcomes that occur when there's a mixing of new ideas and old ideas. However, at times, there is a culture clashing idea when it comes to food or other cultural elements. Next, we'll be looking at a couple of traditional Turkish dishes. As we can see, we see abundance of meat, food, and some food items that contain a lot of sugar. Baklava in the top left-hand corner is a traditional Turkish dish that is pastry layers filled with pistachios and sugar syrup. To the right of that, we see simit. It's a traditional Turkish bread. On the bottom left-hand corner, we see gyros, which are traditional meats served on the food on the streets of Turkey, as well as falafels, and then an abundance of other popular Turkish dishes we might have seen here from time to time. Next, we'll be looking at prevalent health issues and illnesses in the country of Turkey. Cardiovascular disease factors are prevalent among children of different socioeconomic statuses, aka SES, in Turkey, which is also on the rise. The findings of a current study revealed a relationship between both overweight and higher energy intake in middle and high SES children. There's a coexistence of underweight and lower physical activity levels in low SES children. These results suggest a need for developing a public health policy for appropriate intervention strategies to efficiently combat these health and social issues early in life for the Turkish children. Next, we'll be looking at the connections between the Turkish diet and the health issues and illnesses, in our case, would be diabetes. Health statistics have identified minority groups such as the Turkish people as they are shown to be vulnerable to chronic illnesses. There's a clear relationship between Turkish and Turkish migrants' history with diabetes and the role of family. Family shapes Turkish people and their struggle with diabetes. There is difficulty when negotiating family practices in regards to food, cooking, and diabetes self-management. Due to the low SES in most of the population, food options are limited. Households rely on meat, bread, oil, and other filling dairy products to feed families. Self-management of diabetes is difficult as it means that there must be a change from within the kitchen setting. There will always be concerns about food and other cultural practices, but families must adapt together. As we learned from the slide, diabetes not only begins with the individual making changes for themselves, but they rely heavily on their family. For example, if a child has diabetes, they will rely on their parents to provide them with foods that will help control their diabetes and sugar intake levels. So it's important that the families work together and adapt to cultural changes to introduce new foods that will help prevent the spread and or prolongness of chronic diseases such as diabetes. Next, we're looking at globalization and increased incidence of certain diseases. Diabetes may very well be the inevitable and unfortunate side effect of globalization. Epidemic of type 2 diabetes on a global scale is a matter of concern, not only from a public health standpoint, but a social perspective. There are more detailed studies being conducted on high-risk migrant populations, such as the Turkish people. It has been documented that migrants from the Middle East to Sweden have recorded a doubled prevalence of diabetes. This phenomenon is especially prevalent among diagnosed obese Turkish women due to sedentary lifestyle and suboptimal dietary habits. Suggestions. There should be an introduction of health policy change creation to address the increasing prevalence of diabetes, not only among children, but of all age groups and of all SES backgrounds. There should be a change from within the household to address the need to care for those with diabetes in an inclusive manner that still allows a positive influence of culture and the food. There should be introduction of healthier food options at affordable cost for those living in lower SES areas of Turkey. Finally, there should be a time directed global commitment from the Europe and Asian nations to create policies directed that create affordable, healthy food options for the Turkish people. These suggestions should help control the chronic diseases that are facing the people of Turkey, such as diabetes. Thank you, and that ends my presentation.